It is really part of my own personal disposition to take some time to look back into the past. And they say that looking back, a retrospective perspective is a 2020 vision, to be able to see the connectedness of the past to the present. Hello, this is Father Sunny, and welcome to another dose of Holy. And this is actually, from my point of view, one of probably the latest dose of Holy I'm doing ever in the past several months that I've been doing dose of Holy. Anyway, it's Black Friday today, so I hope that your Thanksgiving has been wonderful and that you had a wonderful time with your family, even through all the crazy things that are going on right now with the pandemic. I hope that this Thanksgiving has been one for the books for all of you, as it has been for me personally. I guess one of the great things about the fact that we had to, have smaller groups for Thanksgiving is that we got to be able to engage in some more intimate and more really personal conversations with one another, and that is certainly what happened with my family during this Thanksgiving. We've never had a Thanksgiving where we sat down, talked about life, talked about the future, talked about our gifts, talked about what we're really grateful for, talked about the dynamics of the family, talked about very philosophical and as well as mundane things, philosophical things like achieving your highest potential, and mundane as basketball, politics, and things of that nature. Anyway, so I wish you a belated happy Thanksgiving, and I hope that your Thanksgiving this year has been truly wonderful, just like mine. Anyway, that is a look back from yesterday, and this theme for today's Dose of Holy is about looking back. Part of the reason why I want to talk about looking back is because tomorrow, and actually this week, is the final week of the liturgical calendar, and by next week we begin a new season. Starting actually tomorrow evening, we begin the vigil for the new liturgical calendar and the beginning of a new season called Advent. So we are now in the time of the transition. We are finishing this liturgical calendar, and so during these days of like closing and ending moments like this, I always become a little bit more extra sentimental, just because I am normally sentimental. And so I just kind of look back at the past year, and even through all the many things that have happened this year, I look at all the many beautiful things that have taken place, and I'm just so happy about how wonderful this year has been. Even liturgically, I know that it's like a year like no other in our liturgical celebrations, because there was COVID and we were under closure of the churches during the Holy Week, and particularly Easter celebrations. And there were many liturgical celebrations that were redefined and were done differently this year, like it has never ever been before. And so in many ways, it's a really unforgettable year. But beyond focusing on looking back through this past liturgical calendar, it is really part of my own personal disposition to take some time to look back into the past. And they say that looking back, a retrospective perspective is a 2020 vision, to be able to see the connectedness of the past to the present. And sometimes when we're caught in the moment, in a specific moment, it is hard sometimes for us to understand why that particular moment is happening, until we see it from a point of view of a past, from looking back to it. And then maybe we can better see why some moments had to happen, even though when we were in that particular moment, it seemed like we would rather not be there. One example that I'm going to share with you is a personal story of on my own relationship with my father. I my father has passed away in 2016, and I remember back in the day when I was in high school, my family um, broke apart because my father and my mother separated. There is no legal divorce in the Philippines, and so they just kind of separated. And I would never see my father again then. And I was basically only 14 years old during that time. And I would never see him again until I would be about 26 years old, 26, 27 years old. So it would be many years that I would not be able to see my father. But I always wondered why that happened, and I always looked at, why was it necessary for this to happen? And today, as I look back to it, I just saw that I have become more. I guess because I didn't have a father growing up, I was more intent on making something of my life. I got to see the values that are more important. I got to understand the meaning of relationship, the meaning of responsibility. I understood God's providence more because I couldn't rely on my father to help us live our lives. Thank God it was a mother, but with my mom, together with me, we always saw the providence of God. And I think I look back now to my life without my father being around for those many years of my youth, and I say to myself, I probably would not be a priest today if my dad was around. I would probably have been more complacent, and I would not be the person that I am today if my dad did not leave. And even though that was a really bad situation, it was in some ways tragic, so I can imagine myself now being a better person because of those challenges that I've faced. And who knows, perhaps even by God's even though my father may have made some not very good decisions during those years of his life, and the separation had to happen, God certainly did something good out of that bad situation that we had to face in my youth. So something like that. I also wondered why God gave me a little bit of an excursus doing show business and television work before I became a priest. If He really wanted me to be a priest, why did He had to make me do all that in television? And then as we got into the pandemic, I realized, yeah, there's a reason why the Lord made me do the show business, because I'm so comfortable in the camera that I don't ever get so curious or conscious about what I look like or how I'm gonna be like when I'm in front of the camera, just like I am today. Can you imagine? I would not be doing stuff like this, like doing a dose of holy, if I'm not comfortable being in camera. And I'm comfortable being in front of the camera only because I've had my exposure in there. I've had my experience, and I've become very confident enough in my own presence in front of the camera that I don't have to worry about it and be self-conscious. That, I think, is the reason why the Lord gave me an opportunity to look to experience some years of working in front of in front of the camera and television. So today I'm much more confident with myself and less self-conscious about how things are, especially when I'm presenting myself in public. So there is a lot of good thing about looking back. Looking back helps you understand more who you are. It helps you connect your past to your present. It helps you understand that there is a meaning and purpose to everything that happens in our lives. And it also makes us more grateful about it as well. It makes our life more coherent when we look to the past and say, that past made sense now in relation to what I'm doing today. And I can imagine that whatever crazy thing we're dealing with right now that doesn't seem to make sense for us in our present time, I am sure that it would have some significance or meaning as we move forward into the future and start looking backwards into the present moment that doesn't seem to make sense. So what I'm trying to say is that, friends, it's important that we trust the bigger plan, the bigger picture, that there is always a plan, and the Lord always has several steps ahead of us. And so even though we may not understand it, what we are being asked, the expectation of God from us is to just trust Him, that He is the big boss and that He has control over it all, and that everything will be okay because He is in there. He's in there making things happen. So, as I finish this, I'd like to remind you again to not forget to look back, and maybe part of that looking back as well is finding the many people out there that have been important in your own personal life journey. Look back to see who are those people that have been there to help you to be a blessing in your life, and hopefully that you find some time to say thank you or to pray for them, or even just to shout out a word of gratitude to the universe for the gift of these people that have been part of your life, that have blessed you with their encouragement, with their presence, with their wisdom, with their friendship, with their love, with their care, whatever it is that you've learned from them or benefited from them. That's another reason why we need to look to the past. So I want to close this time with just telling you all that I'm grateful for the many encouragement that I've been receiving from so many of you, and I can see Bernie Blanchett. She's a regular around here, together with Sharon Nolte, Kathy Doomer, many friends out there who are regular to this channel. I can see Sol Marie is here, even Sister Magdalena, Sister Terenia. Many of you are regulars around here on my Dose of Holy, and so I want to say thank you for the many encouragement, and I hope to be able to continue doing this in the future, and hopefully also get to appreciate it better why I'm doing this right now, for something in the future that I'm still yet to see. This is Father Sunny, guys. Please keep me in your prayers, and this is your Dose of Holy this evening, today. God bless you always with a happy, holy, and healthy life. Until next time. Bye.